Welcome to my channel, the Canine Code. Your dog walks up to you holding their favorite toy. You smile, maybe reach for it, thinking they want to play. But what if that toy in their mouth isn't an invitation to tug off? What if it's something far more profound? A gesture loaded with meaning that most dog owners completely misunderstand. Subscribe to the channel because what you're about to learn will transform every moment your dog approaches you with something in their mouth. Number 1, the gift that isn't a game. When your dog brings you their toy, your first instinct is probably to throw it, tug on it, or engage in play. That's what toys are for, right? But watch what happens when you reach for it. Does your dog pull back slightly, or do they hold perfectly still, waiting for you to take it? Research from animal behavior scientists shows that dogs distinguish between play solicitation and offering behaviors through subtle body language cues. During play solicitation, dogs exhibit what ornithologists call the play bow, their front legs extended, rear elevated, tail wagging in broad sweeps. But when a dog approaches with a toy held gently in their mouth, body relaxed, eyes soft, tail in a low neutral wag, something entirely different is happening. They're performing a behavior rooted in their wolf's ancestry, where pack members would bring food to higher-ranking individuals or to those they felt bonded with. Your dog isn't asking you to play, they're giving you a gift. And the distinction matters because it reveals how your dog sees you in their world. Number 2, the biology of generosity inside your dog's brain. The act of bringing you their toy triggers a cascade of neurochemical events that mirror human bonding behaviors. Studies published in behavioral neuroscience journals have found that dogs experience oxytocin release during positive social interactions with their owners, the same hormone that floods a mother's system when she nurses her infant. When your dog selects a toy, carries it to you, and presents it, their brain is actively choosing to create a bonding moment. This isn't random. Dogs have roughly 300 million olfactory receptors compared to our 6 million, which means that toy carries your scent, their scent, the memory of every game you've played together. By bringing it to you, they're bringing you a physical representation of your shared history. The toy is saturated with positive associations, moments of joy, excitement, connection. What looks like a simple gesture is actually your dog saying, "This thing makes me happy, and I want to share that happiness with you." The biological drive behind this behavior is so strong, the dogs will often continue offering toys even when their humans don't understand the significance, because the act of giving reinforces the bond, whether you reciprocate correctly or not. Number 3, the hierarchy of precious things. Not all toys are created equal in your dog's mind, and which toy they bring you tells you exactly where you stand in their emotional landscape. Pay attention to whether they bring you the newest toy, the one you just bought, or that ancient threadbare thing they've had for years. Behavioral researchers have documented that dogs develop attachment hierarchies with their possessions, similar to how children have favorite blankets or stuffed animals. The most beloved toy, often the oldest and most worn, carries the highest emotional value. When your dog brings you that specific toy, they're not bringing you trash that happens to squeak. They're bringing you their most prized possession, the object that comforts them when you're gone, that they sleep with, that they choose over all others. This is the canine equivalent of a child showing you their most treasured belonging. Some dogs will rotate through toys, testing your reaction, learning which offerings make you happiest. Others will consistently bring the same item, the one they've decided represents their bond with you. The hierarchy reveals something profound about trust, because dogs are incredibly resource-conscious animals and sharing their most valued resource with you is a deliberate choice that says you matter more than the thing they treasure most. Number 4, the waiting game. Watch what your dog does after they've placed a toy near you or in your hand. Do they immediately back away and wait? Do they sit, eyes fixed on your face, tail barely moving? This waiting period is critical and completely misunderstood. Your dog isn't waiting for you to throw the toy, they're waiting for acknowledgement, for recognition that you've received their gift. Research on canine social cognition shows that dogs are exquisitely attuned to human facial expressions and vocal tones, capable of distinguishing between genuine praise and perfunctory attention. When they sit there watching you, they're reading your micro-expressions, listening to the tone of your voice, measuring whether you understand what they've done. If you immediately throw the toy, you've missed a point entirely. You've taken their gift and turned it into a game without acknowledging the emotional transaction that just occurred. The correct response, the one that deepens your bond, is to accept the toy with genuine appreciation. Make eye contact. Speak to them in that soft voice you reserve for meaningful moments. Hold the toy for a few seconds before deciding together what comes next. Some dogs will then invite play, bouncing, or bowing, but only after you've completed the ritual of receiving. Others will simply walk away satisfied, having accomplished what they set out to do, which was never about the game at all. Number 5, the vulnerability of the mouth. Consider what it means for a predatory animal to approach you with something held gently in their mouth. Dogs are descendants of wolves, animals whose survival depended on their jaws. Their primary tool for hunting, defense, and carrying offspring. The mouth is simultaneously the most powerful and most vulnerable part of a dog's anatomy. When your dog holds a toy in their mouth and brings it to you, they're placing themselves in a position of complete vulnerability. They can't defend themselves with a toy wedged between their teeth. They can't eat, drink, or respond to threats. Studies on canine behavior during resource guarding show that dogs instinctively protect valuable items by holding them tightly, moving away from perceived threats, or displaying defensive body language. But when your dog approaches you with a toy held loosely, head low, movements calm, they're doing the opposite of guarding. They're saying, I trust you so completely that I'm willing to be defenseless in your presence. This vulnerability extends beyond the physical. By offering you something they value, they risk rejection, they risk you ignoring them, misunderstanding them, or taking the item and not giving it back. Every time your dog brings you their toy, they're making themselves emotionally vulnerable. And your response either validates that trust or teaches them to guard their treasures more carefully. Number 6. The memory keeper. Your dog's toy isn't just an object. It's a repository of shared experiences, a physical timeline of your relationship. Canine memory research has revealed that dogs possess episodic memory, the ability to recall specific events and the emotions attached to them. That toy your dog is bringing you holds memories of the day you brought them home, the first time they made you laugh, the afternoon you spent in the yard together, the evening you were sad and they stayed close. Each scent molecule embedded in the fabric or rubber carries a timestamp, a moment when joy happened. When your dog selects that specific toy and brings it to you, they're accessing those memories, reliving those emotions, and inviting you to do the same. This is why some dogs become distressed if you try to throw away old toys, even ones that are falling apart. You see garbage, they see a museum of your relationship. The act of bringing you the toy is an act of memory sharing. Your dog's way of saying remember, when without words, they're reminding you of the bond you've built, refreshing the connection, and in some cases, when you've been stressed or distant, they're trying to bring you back to those moments when everything felt right between you. Number 7. The language you've been missing. Every single time your dog brings you their toy, they're speaking in a language you were never taught to understand. You've been responding to the wrong question. They're not asking you to play. They're not bored. They're not trying to get your attention for entertainment. They're performing one of the most significant gestures in the canine emotional vocabulary, and most owners have spent years accidentally rejecting it. When you immediately throw the toy, you're telling your dog that their gift means nothing, that the emotional content of their gesture doesn't register. When you ignore them because you're busy, you're teaching them that their attempts at connection aren't worth your time. When you take the toy and forget to give it back, you're proving that you don't understand the sacred nature of what they've shared. But when you pause, when you receive the toy with both hands, when you make eye contact and say their name softly, when you sit with them for just a moment before anything else happens, you're speaking their language fluently. You're saying, I see you, I understand what this means, and I value what you're trying to give me. That's the response that makes your dog's tail wag in a way that's different from play, excitement. A slower, deeper wag that comes from emotional satisfaction rather than physical anticipation. All of these moments have been building an account your dog has been keeping. A ledger of times you understood them versus times you missed the meaning entirely. And there will come a day when your dog is older, when their toys stay in the basket more often than not, when their energy for games has faded, and you remember all the times they brought you their treasures and you thought they just wanted to play. The good news is that it's not too late. The next time your dog approaches with a toy in their mouth, stop what you're doing. Look at them. Really look at them. Accept what they're offering with the reverence it deserves. Hold that toy for a moment and understand that what sits in your hand is love made tangible, trust made visible, a relationship condensed into threadbare fabric and faded script. Your dog has been trying to tell you something profound with the only words they have. They've been saying, you are my person. This is my treasure and I want you to have it because sharing my joy with you is what makes me whole. If this changed how you'll respond the next time your dog brings you their toy, share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Thanks for watching my video. Subscribe the channel. Take care.